What's up everybody, NixRL here, and I'm going to be bringing you guys the English translations for Renoa, Hugo, Mei Lin, and Khalipe in today's video. If you're like myself, you've been fiending for more information on CZN, what these characters are going to be like, how they're going to perform, what their playstyle is going to look like, and myself and a couple community members, big shout out to Baydreaming and Snuffolo, have taken some time to translate some of these characters' kits. Now, we are using a video that we found online. I'll have that linked in the description of the video, and taking screen grabs to translate them. So please understand that this is information from some sort of beta server, so this is always going to be subject to change, and the translations may not be one-to-one. Problem is, these translations sometimes spit out different answers, so we did our best to kind of take multiple translations and piece together information to make these kits make sense. So it is subject to change. There is going to be some small translation errors and some localization issues, but we tried to, essentially back check this against some of the English information that is out there. Long story short, this is going to give you guys an idea of what these characters are going to do, give you the general idea of their gameplay. Just know that some of the translations may be slightly off. Okay, but it's still information. I'm stoked about it. I'm excited to share with you guys about it. So we've got 4 characters in this video. I'll have 4 more characters in the next video. We'll have another translation video. And without further ado, let's look into the kits. Alrighty guys, we're going to be starting with Renoa. Right here, there's going to be a lot of information to get through, so I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible. A couple things to note on Renoa. She is a hunter class character, and she is the void element. That's what these 2 top symbols right here mean. And we're going to go ahead and get into what her cards are. So to have a little bit of groundwork laid here, these top 4 cards we believe are referred to as their basic cards, whereas these bottom 4 cards are going to be referenced as their unique cards. So with these first 2 cards, as you can see, it's the same art. They do the same thing. We have it translated to rapid fire, and you can see with the imagery, it's a 1-cost card, and this little red symbol means that it is an attack card, aka you're going to be dealing damage with it. Just something to keep in mind as we go through all these character kits, and they will be doing 100% damage. So pretty simple card. This third basic card that she's got, we have it called Black Curtain, which is going to give a shield for 100%. Now, one of the things that we're confused about here early on, assuming these damage numbers, unless stated otherwise, are scaling off of their attack, not entirely sure what this shield is scaling off of. And if you've been keeping up with CZN, you know that the HP pool is shared amongst the 3 characters on your team. So it's really hard to say what the shield value is going to be, but we do know that this is going to be a shielding effect. You'll find that in a lot of these characters' kits, not only will they all have some sort of offensive abilities, but a lot of them will have some sort of healing or shielding ability mixed in as well. And then her 4th basic card, Conscious Requiem, a 1-cost attack card, is going to do damage for 140% and generate a Resonance Bullet card. Now, this Resonance Bullet may not be, again, the one-to-one translation. It may not have the localization, but this is one of the key terms that we're going to want to focus on within her kit, these Resonance Bullets. And we'll see it as soon as we get to her first unique card here. So we have this listed as Instant Judgment, another 1-cost attack card dealing damage worth 180%. But if holding a Resonance Bullet, you will discard it and deal an additional 100% damage. So we're already seeing how this 4th basic card, which will generate Resonance Bullets, ties into the synergy with some of these unique cards. It's going to allow us to do even more damage. The 2nd unique card, another 1-cost attack card, called Scars of Repentance, is going to deal damage for 40% 3 times. So I assume if there's multiple enemies on the field, it would be at random. If it's a single target, you're going to hit that same target, doof, 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 40% 3 times. And for each Resonance Bullets in the hand, the damage will increase by 10%. So instead of dealing damage worth 40% 3 times, so you have 2 Resonance Bullets, now you're going to be hitting for 60% 3 times. Again, we see the synergy. Her 3rd card, La Vie en Grâce, probably saying that wrong, is actually a 1-cost skill card. That's what this blue symbol is here. I should have mentioned earlier, the shielding ability is also one of the skill cards. But this one right here, La Vie en Grâce, discard 2 cards and generate that many Resonance Bullets. We continue to see this synergy within the kit. If you play this card right here, you're essentially sacrificing a couple cards to generate Resonance Bullets to beef up the damage of some of her other unique cards. And then the fourth and final unique card we have right here, Resolute Assault, another one cost attack card. The damage is 150% straight up, but you'll also discard all resonance bullets in your hand and deal 50% damage per discarded bullet. So if you have an opportunity to build up a lot of these resonance bullets, you'll notice in her unique cards how you can capitalize on that by amplifying her damage. That's going to be kind of the playstyle loop that we found with Renoa. Moving into her Ego Skill, it looks like her Ego Skill is called Blackthorn, and you'll notice the indicator here on the top left portion of her Ego Skill card. It's got 4 lines to it. It costs 4 ego points. So this is a 4-cost card that's going to convert all drawn and unused cards into resonance bullets. We continue to see that synergy. It's going to deal 150% damage. You'll notice that right here on this third line. And then inflicts strengthened damage for 2 times. Now, it seems like some of these debuffs I've got a little bit more info on, some of them not so much, but strengthened seems to just be something that's going to allow you to deal additional damage to an enemy that's got that debuff on them. And now this card right here are these resonance bullets cards. So you can see they've got a 1 cost and an attack card, so you could play them separately. And they do 160% damage. Each time the card goes into the discard pile, it performs an additional 80% attack on a random enemy. Now, one of the questions that we have here with Renoa is when you are using some of her other cards, you're using these unique cards that also benefit from having resonance bullets in your hand, will you still get this additional 80% damage on a random enemy? Or only when you use the card as an individual entity, if you were to just play the resonance bullet? That part I'm uncertain of. However, it does seem like with the synergies in her kit, you're not going to just want to play these cards willy-nilly. You're going to want to generate them and use them to stack the damage on any of her other abilities. The last thing for Renoa to go through are her limit breaks. This is what happens when you get a dupe of the character. We've got limit break 1 through 6. I've only got the screen grab here for limit break 1, but if you're like me and you can't read Korean, then it really doesn't matter if I show you the other limit breaks. I'm just going to be giving you guys the details on what these duplicates will do for her. So her limit break 1, Resolute Assault scaling. Resolute Assault, let me find it real quick, is going to be her 4th unique card. So this card right here in the bottom right. Resolute Assault damage is going to be increased from 50% per bullet to 70% per bullet. So you're just getting a damage amplification from her limit break 1. Her second limit break, each card in the discard increases Renoa's attack card damage by 5%. Now, we did see in Renoa's kit, she's got some attack cards and she's got some skill cards. We'll talk about it in later characters. There's also upgrade cards as well. But for any time that she plays an attack card, when you have cards in the discard pile, it should amplify the amount of damage those attack cards do. So we're just stacking on DPS prowess. Her third limit break, and you'll find that this is a consistent theme, the 3 and the 5 on every character seems to be the same. Any card damage, shielding, and healing will increase by 15%. So that's her limit break 3. The 4, Blackthorn's card damage. Remember, Blackthorn is her Ego Skill, so right now it does 150%. When you get her limit break 4, you'll be increasing that damage by 100% to make it do 250% damage. Once again, the 5 also increases card damage, shield, and healing by 15%. And her limit break 6, her final dupe, each time Renoa's cards move to the discard, her attack card damage increases by 10% for 1 turn. So again, we've got an opportunity to stack damage. The long story short on Renoa, if this playstyle looks interesting to you, is going to be about using her abilities to generate resonance bullets and then use those resonance bullets to amplify her damage when she uses some of her unique cards or, when you get to her Ego Skill. Alrighty, next character we have up is going to be Hugo. Hugo is a Ranger class character with the element of order. So we've got this RGB system going on and then the light dark, but the green one is called order. So he's a Ranger class and uses order. Similar to Renoa, the first 2 cards are both the exact same card. We have it translated as Dagger Throw. It looks like they're a 1-cost attack card and they just do 100% damage. you'll find that this is going to be relatively consistent across almost every character, that they have some card that just does 100% damage. Now, with this third card, we have it listed as Defense System. Also notice it's got this blue symbol, so it is a skill card. And this is also a shield for 100%. Again, I don't know where that shield scaling is coming from. If it's off of the attack, the defense, the HP, that I'm uncertain of. But we do know that this is a shield for 100%. And then we see our first instance of an upgrade card, this green symbol that you have right here. So 1 cost upgrade. And we have this listed as Hunting Instinct. Whenever an ally uses an enhanced or skill card, Hugo will gain 1 hunt mark. So this seems to be the unique feature within Hugo's kit, are these hunt marks. And we're going to want to stack those. Again, we'll talk about it as we proceed through the rest of the kit. So after playing this card, you can play other allies' enhanced or skill cards and then give Hugo these hunt marks. Now, for his 4 unique cards, the first one we have is a 1 cost attack card that we have listed as Dagger Spray. It deals 60% damage 3 times to all enemies. So if you've got a bunch of enemies on the field, this attack should be a bit more effective than if you're fighting a single target enemy. And for each enemy hit, you're going to gain the equivalent amount of hunt marks. So once again, this is going to synergize better if you're fighting, multiple enemies, because Hugo will be able to generate that many more hunt marks. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, we'll go over what these hunt marks do in a little bit. Next up, we have a 1 cost attack card called Predator's Rush. It's going to deal damage for 80% 2 times. And if Hugo has hunt mark, you're going to draw an additional attack card. So we already start to see this synergy going on. If he's got hunt mark, you're going to get extra cards in your hand, just giving you more capabilities within the kit. This third unique card, a 1 cost skill card, have this listed as Guardian's Howl, which is going to be shield 100%, very similar to the basic card. But in addition, he will gain 2 hunt marks. So we see multiple cards giving these hunt marks. And then the fourth unique card, this is another upgrade card for 1 cost. Hunt mark damage increased by 40%. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, Nix, I've heard hunt mark a million times. What exactly does that mean? So we have it listed here alongside of his ego skill, of his ultimate, so to speak. And it looks like the hunt marks, when using a single target attack card, perform an additional attack dealing 70% damage and consuming 1 hunt activation, or what we believe to be the hunt marks. So it seems like by getting hunt marks, you are allowing Hugo to follow up with other attacks. So if you have a single target attack, not sure if that's just from Hugo or if that's within your team comp synergy, he will perform an additional attack for 70% damage. And each stack you have increases the damage dealt by 30% up to 5 stacks. So, idea being, generate these hunt stacks, allow Hugo to chime in, to essentially join in on the combat repeatedly. And if you have multiple stacks of these hunt marks, you can amplify the damage even further. Now, the ego card specifically, we have it listed as Final Resolution. You can see here on the left side, it is a 6 cost ego card. It deals 250% damage to all enemies and inflicts a vulnerability status, and also increases the hunt activation damage by 30%. So this vulnerability is going to, allow you to hit enemies that much harder. And if you've got this hunt going on, you're just stacking more of this hunt damage. Seems like the TLDR on his kit is going to be getting as many hunt marks as possible to keep him as active as possible. And when you can stack those, you can amplify his damage. Last thing to go through are going to be his limit breaks. The limit break number 1, the one shown on screen, for each hunt mark that Hugo has, his attack card damage increases by 10%. So similar to what we saw on Renoa's kit, where you're just getting this additional damage scaling by unlocking his limit breaks. For his limit break 2, this is a little bit confusing because we haven't seen anything specifically for a parry, but we had it translated to when Hugo parries, gain 1 hunt mark. Not sure where that parry is. Again, this is the issue with trying to do the translations and trying to get the localization going on, where some of these may not be entirely accurate. The third one, same as with Renoa, it's going to be the same across all characters. We're increasing damage, shield, and healing by 15%. The fourth limit break, Final Resolution, also generates 1 hunt mark. So that's his ultimate right there. You're going to be gaining another hunt mark. I didn't say this before, and maybe I've slipped up on this, but it seems like there is hunt marks and hunt activation. So maybe two separate ordeals. 5, once again, increasing damage, shield, and healing by 15%. And the 6 is going to increase the max hunt mark stacks that he can have at a time by 1. Once again, it seems like you're going to be focusing on applying hunt marks. I guess you're going to have to get some sort of hunt activation going on. And these hunt marks, I believe, will allow him to have follow-up attacks to essentially join in on the combat when other characters on your squad attack. And then hunt activation may be what amplifies the damage done when performing these hunt mark follow-ups. Maybe a little shaky, but you get a general idea of what Hugo will be like. Third character we're going to be talking about here is Khalipe. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that close to correct. Our first instance of a Vanguard character, which is kind of like your shielder, a form of sustain character. And her element is this light element referred to as instinct. With her cards, what we see in her basics is that she's only going to have one of these basic attack cards. You notice that Renoa and Hugo each had 2. Hers is going to deal defense-based damage for 100%. I think I've got it somewhere else in my notes. Yeah, it says defense-based damage scales as 30% of the character's attack and 210% of their defense. So she's going to do 100% defense damage, which is a combination of attack and defense. She's also got a 2-cost attack card called Bite Off, which is going to be defense-based damage for 220%. I've got to assume, based off of the scalings, that the defense isn't going to be nearly as high as what the attack stats are going to be, because these multipliers are a little crazy. Her third card is a 1-cost skill card, which is going to give a shield for 100%. If we are to believe that shield scaling comes off the defense, we can imagine that her using a shielding skill is going to be a much beefier shield than the previous mentioned characters, Renoa or Hugo. So we're kind of piecing together the puzzle that way. And then her fourth basic card is pretty expensive, a 3-cost attack card. All enemies defense-based damage for 140%. So an AoE attack, plus you get a shield for 80%, and you also gain Silver Veil. Now, I don't have much information for you guys on Silver Veil. I believe this is the only place that we've seen pop up in the kit, so it could be, once again, a translation error, and maybe it means something else. It could be a unique debuff that only she can apply, or maybe we got the translation just a little off. When we go into her unique cards, this first card is going to be a 2-cost attack card. It does, again, all enemies, so AoE defense-based damage for 220%, and if Falcon Launch was used this turn, return it to the hand and reduce its cost by 1. So Falcon Launch, it's got to be another card within the kit. I'd imagine it's this one right here because it's got a Falcon, but this is a shielding card. So maybe you would double up on your shields. If it was used, you return it to the hand and reduce its cost by 1. Maybe you can double her shields because of that. You play it, it costs you 1, you get it back, reduce the price by 1, so now you can add more shields for a 0 cost. Perhaps that's the case. This second one is going to be a 2-cost skill card, which shields 200%, and all enemies take stagger damage times 2. Another form of debuff, I'm sure. Her third card is a 1-cost skill card. You're going to get a shield for 200% and draw the highest cost card. I think this would be helpful paired with other characters, maybe not necessarily for herself. Now, she does have an expensive card here at a 3-cost. We haven't seen any cards that have larger than a 3-cost, but there are some other offensive-based characters with high-cost cards. And you could use this, I guess, as a way to give yourself some shield and also pull a expensive card that, otherwise you may have to wait for later in your deck. And then the fourth unique card, a 2-cost attack card. Again, all enemies, so AoE defense-based damage for 200%, plus 80% damage per card in the hand with a 2-cost or greater. And it preserves all your cards for 1 turn. So this seems to be her offensive, or like her premium, her primo offensive ability. It will synergize with this previous mentioned card right here. We're going to draw the highest cost card. I don't know if this is necessarily worth it just to increase her damage, But she has a lot of expensive cards, a 2 cost, a 3 cost, 2 more 2 cost, and this one is 2. So just judging off of that, she's got 5 in her kit alone, not to mention who you may pair her with. So this does look like the damage could scale relatively high. If you have 5, it's 80% each time. It could get really beefy very quickly. And then her Ego Skill, Charisma of Resolve, a 5 cost card. All enemies, so again, she's a very AoE focused unit, take defense based damage for 300% and add 2 Falcon Launch to the hand. Is this the shielding card? Again, if we're just going off of images, this is the one that's got the Falcon. So perhaps it is just giving you more shielding opportunities. I'm very curious to see if those shields are going to stack or not. But that's the information that we've got on her Ego Skill. And last but certainly not least, her limit breaks. Cannon Barrage, the card or the per card bonus changes from 80% to 100% and counts cost greater than 2 in hand. Well, it was already greater than 2. We're referencing this bottom right card, her 4th unique skill, Cannon Barrage. So basically, the changes from 80 to 100%, so any of those cards that cost 2 or more are going to be stacking damage. It's increasing the damage multiplier from 80 to 100, so it's going to be even beefier offensive abilities. But again, when we're looking at this is a 2, or not right there. This is a 2, excuse me, so maybe it changes it from it's got to be greater than 2 to greater than or equal to 2. This could just be a translation error, but the thing that we can say for sure is you are increasing from 80% to 100% for that additional damage scaling. For her second limit break, each time you use Falcon Launch, gain Veil Deployment. That's the yeah, so we had Silver Veil listed on her 4th basic card. Maybe it's Veil Deployment. Again, so the translation is kind of hard to keep up with, but you're going to gain Veil Deployment, damage and shield plus 5% stacking up to 4 times, but it gets removed when you use Falcon Launch. So, you know, I think this is just a way for her to gain and add additional shields. Her 3rd limit break, like everybody else, you're going to increase damage, shield, and healing by 15%. Her 4th, Charisma of Resolved, is going to be -1 cost. That is her Ego Skill. So rather than costing 5, it looks like it'll only cost you 4, which is kind of nice. And then it's going to create an additional Falcon Launch on use. Her 5th, similar to the other ones, plus 15% for damage, shield, and healing. And then her 6th, a limit break, Veil Deployment max stacks increases to 6 and are no longer removed by using Falcon Launch. This is the sketchiest character, you know, in my opinion, that we've translated. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on, but to break it down in layman's terms as simple as possible, she is going to be your shielding tank character. A lot of her kit is focused around getting shields, keeping your team shielded, having beefier shields, and it looks like she can do some AoE damage along the way as well. Alrighty, and the 4th and final character that I'm going to be bringing you translations for in this video is going to be Mei Lin, who is a striker style character of the passion element, or this fire element right here. Mei Lin is a little tricky with the translations as well. I'll talk about it as we go through these cards. But her basic cards, we are back to seeing 2 of the damage cards. We have it translated as Fire Dragon's Claw, dealing 100% damage, and as you can see, 1 cost attack cards. This 3rd card is going to be her Sustainability, a 1 cost skill card that does shield for 100%. And her 4th card, Fire Dragon's Treasure, a 1 cost upgrade card. It's listed as Mei Lin's attack damage is increased by 25%, so a bit of a damage amp for her, and gains 1 passion weakness to the target when using Mei Lin's attack card. Passion is her element. Passion weakness, we believe, has to do with her breaking enemies. If you've watched any of the early gameplay footage that has been out there, there's a lot of 30-minute gameplay loops that you're able to find. Plus, you can see just in CZN's official videos they've put out when you're fighting various enemies, the top bar is going to be their HP bar. The bottom bar is their, toughness bar, their shield bar. I don't know what it's going to be referred to as. And sometimes those bars will be segmented. So I don't know if gaining 1 passion weakness means against the fire weak enemies, these passion weak enemies, she will just boom, snap off 1 portion of that bar, or if it will allow her to break that bar for enemies that are not already passion weak. Got to get some more gameplay footage to find out. My guesstimation right now is that she's going to be essentially amplifying how quickly she can break passion weak enemies. And we'll talk about that as we go through these unique cards as well. First unique card, a 1-cost attack card, Rising Dragon Spire. It deals 100% damage and adds Sunspot 2 times. Now, we do believe that Sunspot is a unique debuff for Mei Lin, which specifically has to do with breaking the enemy's weakness bar. So there's going to be multiple debuffs that we talk about in here. I'm going to jump the gun a little bit. We have passion damage, and we also have Sunspot. I believe that passion damage is talking about how quickly she can essentially remove the HP bar, whereas these sunspots have to do with how quickly and how effectively she can get rid of their toughness bar. It also is kind of neat where it's got a chain ability, deals 1 additional hit of damage for each hit dealt. So the way that we've digested this is that you're going to want to play as many attack cards from Mei Lin in a turn as you can, and then finish up with this card right here, Rising Dragon Spire. So every attack that you've done, she'll then trigger a chain. So say you were able to play 2 attack cards, maybe these 2 basic cards right here, and then play this unique card, she would add 3 additional hits. You've played 1, 2, 3 attacks, and then this chain will essentially give you an additional attack for every attack you had played, giving you 3 more attacks. Could be wrong, but that's what we're guesstimating for it right now. Second card, Flawless, is what we've got it translated as, a 0-cost skill card, which will allow you to draw 2 of your basic cards, so 2 of these 4 cards listed at the top, and the cost of those cards is reduced by 1. Well, you can see all of these cards are already just a 1-cost card. So when you play this card, which costs you 0, you'll be allowed to play 2 of these cards also for a 0 cost. This kind of gives credence to the idea that she is going to be a combo character. You play this second unique card, get a couple of these basic attack cards or get to play them for free, and then hit her combo or her chain card after to amplify the damage that she can shell out. The third card we have listed as Spirit of the Dragon, a 1-cost skill card, which increases passion damage. We spoke about that earlier. I believe this just means that she's a passion element character. She's going to be hitting harder with passion damage. So increases that passion damage taken by enemies by 100% for 2 turns, and then also gains 2 action points when defeated. So if you can use this card, increase passion damage, knock out maybe some of the weaker enemies, or, I mean, if you're in a fight against a stronger enemy, I assume that's going to be the last one that you eliminate from battle, but say there's multiple. Whoever you eliminate, you can also generate more action points. So she can take even more turns, build that combo up even further. And then the last unique card, a 2-cost attack card, which deals 240% damage to all enemies and maintains a passion weakness state. So assuming that you have a passion weakness on the enemy, perhaps this card does not take away from the amount of stacks of passion weakness that you have put on the enemy. You can play this card and maintain that passion weakness debuff on the enemy rather than losing a stack or maybe just losing out on that passive in general. Her ego skill is interesting. What this current image translates to is her critical chance is increased by 100% and her critical damage is increased by 150% for 1 turn. So I guess you would want to play this, hit a crazy combo, all of that would be at 100% crit rate. She'd be amplifying her crit damage. Problem being, we've seen other footage with this exact same card, her ego skill, with a different ability listed essentially. So remember, this is beta footage. Like I said at the beginning of the video, some of this stuff is, well, all of it is subject to change, and some of this stuff looks like it will be changing. We're just going off what we have, again, to get a general idea of the kit. So, although this card right here translates to plus 100 crit rate, plus 150 crit damage, I don't think that is going to be accurate on launch. And then the last bit for Mei Lin, her limit breaks. The first limit break that we have, the damage of Fire Dragon Spirit card is increased by 10% for each passion weakness. So Fire Dragon Spirit is what we have listed as... Oh man, the translation, sorry. We've been doing a lot of work and I've changed the names on these cards quite a bit. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. So increases by 10%. Long story short, you've noticed the trend in the other limit breaks for these characters. It's just amplifying damage for certain cards with their limit break 1. With her limit break 2, her passion damage is increased by 30%. I'm led to believe that this means that every time she is doing an ability, because she is a passion character, she is just getting a straight up 30% damage bonus across all of those attacks. Her third, like every character, increases damage, shield, and healing by 15%. Her fourth limit break grants a sunspot to a target damaged by Mei Lin's card. So if we are accurate in predicting that sunspots is a debuff to their toughness bar, just by attacking with Mei Lin, you'll be able to apply that sunspot debuff and break their toughness bar a little bit quicker. Limit break 5, damage, shield, and healing plus 15%. And then her limit break 6, very similar to the limit break 4. When you deal damage with Mei Lin's cards, give the target 1 sunspot. It feels like it says the exact same thing in the limit break 4 and limit break 6, just worded slightly different. But the TLDR that we can get for Mei Lin is that she is going to be a character that wants to combo a lot of attacks. She wants to apply passion weakness. She wants to apply sunspot to break the enemy's toughness faster, to chunk down the enemy faster. And if you've seen any of the early Mei Lin gameplay footage, it is out there. She does seem to be able to absolutely nuke some of these enemies. So, a quick little wrap up on these characters. Renoa is going to be focusing on resonance bullet generation and then amplifying her damage based off the resonance bullets in her hand. Hugo is going to focus on applying hunt marks and then using hunt activation to attack more often, more frequently, and for more damage. Our Vanguard character, Khalipe, is going to be focused on getting a bunch of shields, AoE damage when she does it, but seems like she's going to be there more so to tank and keep your team alive. And then Mei Lin, who we just discussed, a combo breaking style character that wants to chain together a bunch of attacks and amplify the damage there. Hopefully that is giving you guys a better idea of all of these characters' kits. Sorry if some of that information was a little bit shaky. Like I mentioned, this is all translations that we've tried to do. We've tried to do our best to make sense of these cards based off the Korean translations, what we've been able to find in English, and try to localize it the best that we can. If you like this video, I will be dropping another video with 4 more of the characters. We've been able to find information on 8 of the 5-star characters. So 4 in this video, 4 in the next video. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you've taken time to look into these kits as well, maybe you can help me out with some of these translations that I've gone through in this video and help my understanding a bit. But if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm very excited about CZN, so I'm going to do my best to post some CZN content leading up to release prior to this beta, and I'd be happy to discuss with you guys in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.